All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, what's going on, guys? It's your boy. Today I have a friend with me. Say hello.
What's up, everyone? It's Prodigy here.
Yeah, yeah. And today we're going to be doing Nagato versus the five Kage. So this video came about pretty much because there's a lot of pain videos out there, and Nagato doesn't get a lot of love. And I don't know, I just wanted to do Nagato versus someone, and I think the Kage are a good matchup. And for this video, we're going to be doing Nagato in Sasuke's place. So like if Nagato run the gauntlet that Sasuke did, and then how would the Kage actually do all together in Madara's position? So did you want to get into some pain downplay right now?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We could talk about that first.
So the first thing that I see all the time is that Pain actually has no durability. If you scale Pain and Nagato sort of the same way, they're not actually the same character at all. We found a statement before that says that. Did you want to go into the statement that we found?
Yeah, so basically in the fight, KCM, Naruto, and B had against Edo Itachi and Edo Nagato, like midway through that fight, Naruto was fighting Nagato, and he basically just verbatim says that he's a lot stronger. Not like a little bit, he's a lot stronger than when
Yeah.
he fought Pain.
Now, KCM versus Sage Mode is a whole debate, and I thought for a long time that KCM and Sage Mode were kind of they had pros and cons, and obviously Naruto uses KCM when he wants power, and maybe he wants Sage Mode when he wants as his precog, and maybe he wants it for speed. But that just confirms that this Nagato is around a KCM level threat. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's just crazy because a lot of people downplay Pain, saying Pain has no durability, Nagato has no durability, but we know that Nagato values some parts of Pain more than others. He doesn't care if one gets hit by a Rasengan. You know, we have so many feats for Nagato's durability. He takes a full lariat from Killer B with the version 2 cloak, and he takes no damage. Not just like he gets a little bit of dust on his chest and, he starts to fade away. He takes no damage and absorbs the whole thing. And we also know that Tendo Pain, he can go pretty much the whole fight with Six Tails Naruto and still doesn't really have any scratches on his body until he turns Seven Tails. And it actually takes Eight Tails Naruto to kind of overpower him.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
And and for Nagato as well, we'll just get straight into the topic right now. How do you think he's going to do against the Raikage if he just rocked up in his white hair?
Well, one more thing I wanted to add to like the can I add something to like
Yeah, go for it.
the Nagato downplay? So we were talking about this before, and like I know someone might say in the comments, but like like oh, Tendo lost to a Rasengan, right? Well, um, like if you like really read the fight, you go back and read the fight. Nagato was like halfway dead, like he's coughing up blood, like he's used like nearly probably all his chakra, and like you just keep seeing his bones more and more through his chest, and so
Yeah,
like he's clearly weakened, clearly like almost out of chakra, and as you like know, he's like pumping chakra into Tendo. That's what like makes Tendo, right? Well, like without the chakra, he's just a dead body. He's just a corpse. So I mean, that could be like an explanation to like why he lost to like a normal Rasengan.
which should further suggest that Nagato is a KCM level threat. And we talked about this before. It's like, yeah, well, Sage Naruto and Pain, that's a good fight. That's everyone's favorite fight in the fandom. If you watch the fight, Pain bodies Sage Naruto alongside Kakashi. He was gonna kill Tsunade. He blows up the whole Leaf Village, and his fight against Six and Seven Tails Naruto is while he's massively fatigued. And even Conan is like, "Don't blow up the Leaf Village. You'll fatigue yourself. You're stressing your body." It's implied that his body's like degenerating since he fought Jiraiya in the Rain Village. And what's interesting about this specifically is that Sage Naruto shouldn't have gotten too much stronger after his fight with Pain, because he's going to train it, and then Sakura does that thing, and then Obito interrupts him. And what's interesting about that is that Sasuke gives the five Kage so much smoke. And, you know, if Sasuke is fatigued, he fights Danzo, he fights Kakashi. And then Naruto thinks that him and Sasuke would kill each other. So you know for sure that Pain is going to be crazy or Nagato is going to be crazy. So did you have anything else on the Pain downplay? Because I know Pain gets downplayed a lot in the community.
Yeah, with the Konohamaru thing, that was just uh, that was not like really like fair to like Tendo,
No.
because I don't think the that path like in particular scales to Tendo's durability at all.
You know what does scale to Tendo's durability is Seven Tails Naruto slamming a huge boulder onto his head 5 or 6 times and then
Yeah,
putting his
like
head into the ground like some headhunter jutsu. And then, like I said before, Pain has no scratches. He just goes, "Do you feel pain yet?" It's just bizarre to say that Pain has no durability. We should also maybe
exactly.
get into his reaction time, just because I know that the Raikage people think is crazy.
Oh.
So pretty much what we were talking about earlier is that Pain isn't particularly fast. He's sort of more durable, which is what we were just discussing before. Now, Pain's reaction time actually should be pretty insane and should be able to keep up with sort of Sarnine plus level opponents easily, because we see that in his fight with Jiraiya. He's got the 3 paths fighting Jiraiya and he can react to Jiraiya's fastest jutsu. And then while he's Nagato and Edo, and he's still amped, like it's an amped Nagato, but he instantly dashes over to Naruto to steal his soul and then captures B with the Asura Path. So it's pretty consistent that Nagato's jutsu activation should be pretty crazy, and his body is tanky enough to take on any of the Kage.
All right, so I know a lot of people are gonna bring this up. You know, the one of the Kage's biggest assets, of course, is the Raikage. I know like a lot of people like to talk about him and like his scaling, you know, his speed, his cloak, stuff like that. But Nagato actually might just like neg it because we know the Raikage, you know, he doesn't like really fight with like his brain a lot. He more is just like, you know, big strong guy, you know, he's just like fighting with like his muscles,
He
you know.
got caught by a
So
genjutsu by Madara.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And you know, he's just like he's sort of like the Hulk in a way, like wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, he's not a cerebral fighter like an Uchiha or a, you know, an Akatsuki member. He's definitely the Chad of the Naruto-verse for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So we were talking about like there's a good chance that he just rushes over to Nagato, you know, trying to just like one shot him with like a lariat or something. And you know, Nagato, he's just gonna absorb his chakra
And we know
and
that he could
just
take Killer Bee's lariat, and the lariat is the whole thing about the lariat is that Killer Bee and the Raikage, they're gonna do it together. Like that's the whole thing. They have flashbacks, and the Raikage overpowers like all those children, and but B is actually like just equal strength, and we see that in the Kisame battle that the double lariat is supposed to be an equal strength. You have to match each other to work properly. And we see that the Raikage is in his cloak and B is in not version 2 cloak, just a little, you know, baby cloak. So it's really consistent that the Raikage's cloak might just get absorbed and he should just be able to tank it. Would you agree?
yeah, exactly. I like 100% agree that he should be able to tank it just based off the statement that their power has to like line up with each other's whenever they do the lariat. So
So he's clearly beating the Raikage. He'd probably get soul sucked. So he beats the Raikage. How do you think he'd do against, you know, Darui and Gara and all those goons that show up at the end?
to be honest, he's gonna slap them like easily. Like
Yeah.
he might just like uh, almighty push them, and they're just gonna get probably pushed out of the building because like you know the toads, whenever they pull up with Sage Naruto in the village, the toads are like Bijou size, and they get pushed like miles away from the village.
Breaks all of
So
Gamabunta's bones. Who's like base Jiraiya level.
exactly.
So he clearly beats the Raikage and B and C and all those people. So how does he do against Mei and Inoki in that little room?
All right, so in my opinion, May is in like much different. Like she's not gonna do any better than the Raikage.
No.
You know, with her lava style, he could just push it away, the Shinra Tensei. Then he might just like universal pull her and like she gets soul sucked again.
And we know that for a fact he can absorb high level, complicated Kekkei Genkai because Sage Jiraiya uses oil and fire and bind, and that absorber guy can absorb all of it. Like, so it's literally in the data book like a bottomless pit. So he's definitely absorbing all of the vapor and lava style for sure. But the other thing is Anoki. We know for a fact that he can absorb particle style because Madara does it.
But yeah, I think Anoki, like you said, he should be able to absorb it, just like Madara does with the Rinnegan. Yeah, we could just move on. Like
Yeah.
Anoki probably gets folded.
Yeah, so we both agree Anoki would probably get bodied. He doesn't have the speed. I know it's a huge meme, but you know, Edo Data kind of does catch up with him, and Anoki's clearly not the fastest because the Raikage is the fastest. It's stated and implied numerous times. So even if he does that thing against Sasuke, you know how he does the big particle style on Sasuke and obliterates him. That's Sasuke when he's like fatigued and his eyeballs are failing, and he's got like impact lines surrounding his body, and you know cringing because his eyes hurt so bad. So a stronger person, you know, with insane hacks that can absorb it is just going to body Anoki. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
and then how would you think he goes against Danzo? Because I think Danzo actually probably has a better time handling maybe Nagato than Gara or Mei, for say. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think he does. He might do like a little bit better. I still don't think he would win though.
No, definitely not. So he can fight for a long time, but he's got poor durability. He gets smashed. He gets one shot every time by Sasuke, whether that's by his sword or with a Susanoo punch or you know his ninjutsu. We know that Danzo's again not a really cerebral fighter. He gets caught by genjutsu a few times. He doesn't realize that his eyeball is missing. You know, so much stuff. And if I'm being totally honest, I'm pretty sure Danzo is scared of Nagato in pain anyway, so that it'd probably just be him running away and getting obliterated by Shinra Tensei, I think. That would probably happen. How do you reckon they'll do, like, all together? Like, let's say, like, Tsunade rocks up, they've got their resolve amped. How do you reckon they do against this sort of weakened Nagato? Because we sort of have to start again from day dot.
So if Nagato is in like Madara's position and like they all 5v1 him, um, they might do like honestly a little bit better because like you know their resolve amped and Tsunade pulling out the 100 healings and stuff like that. But I honestly don't think that it's too like I don't think that that all is gonna help them to the point where they could be able to seal Nagato like necessarily.
We at least they have a win con here. The only thing I can see going, you know, in the Kage's favor is that they have Gara's sand funeral, which was going to steal Madara, and then he activated his full power. So that is a win con. But as if you want to get into, like the Shinra Tensei might just blow everyone away because he can do that in Edo over and over again.
Yeah. So yeah, like the Shinra Tensei, say he's in like the mausoleum. You know, Gar's gonna seal him like Madara. He's just gonna pull a Madara and just push all the sand away. Like I honestly don't think that's gonna hold him.
And you might be able to say, like, hey, like maybe the sheer amount of just pressure the Kage would put on Nagato would overwhelm him. But something you got to know about Nagato is that he almost always starts his fights using animal summons. So if he uses the animal summons, he has the invisible chameleon. So he has a set of eyes there. He has the bird for speed and maneuverability. And I think we both agree that the summons are getting pretty much bodied by the Kage, but just the fact that he has an option to just increase his reaction time through shared vision is an insane amp. And I don't know, like the summons were able to take out KCM Naruto and B, who might be stronger than a lot of these Kage. Would you agree?
Yeah, like they honestly should. But one thing I want to bring up about the summons is that the summons should be able to provide Nagato with a few spare seconds to where the Kage aren't pressuring him. But like if Tsunade gets a hold of one, she's honestly like to me, I think she's at least like relative to Sage Naruto and like strength. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Because we see that like Naruto has an insane strength amp as he lifts up those rhinoceroses and the other summons and stuff.
Yeah, and he just like throws them into the air. So I think that like if she gets a hold of one, she's honestly just gonna throw it. The Raikage honestly might do the same thing. Like he might be strong enough to do it too.
As we talked about before, the rods would probably end Tsunade's whole career because something you got to know about these rods is that they are so strong, and I don't know why Nagato didn't use them. If the Raikage or Gara or Tsunade, any of these people got hit by these rods, it pretty much ruins their whole day because even people like Toby Rama, who's pretty insane, he can't just teleport out of them. You know, he has flying Raijin. He just and even Hashirama cannot get out of these rods. And maybe you could argue that, you know, Madara's rods are really strong and whatnot. But I'd also argue that Nagato should just be way stronger because he's around KCM level. We sort of talked about that before. And the rods would just stop Tsunade doing her chakra condensed punches. It'd probably eliminate her 100 healings. It might just tear off Gara's sand armor. Like, I don't know, like I can see a case for these rods just putting in so much work if they get hit by them.
Exactly. And also even if like Nagato can bare minimum stab like one rod into each of them, it's at least gonna slow them down because we seen when Tendo was fighting Kakashi, he stabs like one rod into Kakashi, and Kakashi just like he couldn't like follow through with his Chidori. So I mean like it slowed Kakashi down a lot. So like even if like one, most likely it's probably gonna slow them down.
And you know, those rods, you know, they do get broken out of by Naruto when he transforms. But again, I would just argue that Naruto is just so much more powerful than Sage Naruto anyway. So it's not even really like a hacks feat. It's sort of just like a power feat for Naruto. And like the rods themselves, like they have some pretty crazy lore. Like they pretty much just end anyone that touches them.
Yeah, it just like negs all of your chakra.
And we should also probably bring up a live Nagato. Now, we sort of didn't know how to talk about a live Nagato because he's so inconsistent. Did you want to talk about, you know, the fight with Hanzo and how we sort of spoke about that?
Yeah, so we went over the fight with Hanzo because we were trying to get some type of feat, some type of scaling for a live Nagato because like he's really bare. He really doesn't have much like for
Nothing.
him. Yeah, so one thing we did think of is his fight with Hanzo, where like this is like before he's like crippled, before he uses the ghetto, and like Hanzo is like above the three Sanin, and like while they're working together, so they have like a three times amp. I'm pretty sure in the data book it's stated.
And in the anime, they talk about it as well that the Sanin working together is crazy powerful.
Yeah, exactly. And Hanzo is just like easily over that. Like, you can see like he's barely touched and like barely like beat up, and like the Sani are just they all look miserable. Like
Yeah,
they all look like
they're
they just went through
fatigued.
like the fight of their lives.
And Hanzo doesn't even just spare them because he's injured. He spares them because he just thinks that they're so impressive that they even just lived as long as they did. And Hanzo runs away from Nagato and then gets bodied by Tendo Pain later on. And you mentioned this before, Jiraiya could not believe that Hanzo was dead, implying that even now, after like, you know, nearly 2 decades after that happened, Jiraiya still thinks that Hanzo is that impressive. He's still talking about it to this day, like years later. It's pretty crazy. So, you know, even just scaring Hanzo like that and then even killing him is a pretty good feat. Now, I know Edo Hanzo is nothing compared to a live Hanzo, but, you know, maybe you could argue that Mifune is just like mental amped. I don't know, that seems pretty implied. Hanzo in his fight with Mifune is going through like some sort of crisis. And, you know, we see in Naruto all the time that mental nerfs and amps kind of cripple you to a huge degree. Like we see it with Tsunade and Hiruzen and all those people. So I do agree that Hanzo is insanely impressive, but something else is that Nagato, if he's alive fighting all of these Kage, can actually be damaged. And we sort of both agree that it seems more likely for the Kage to pull out a W when he's alive because even Tsunade can use taijutsu on him.
Yeah, so the the five Kage, they have way more like win cons. Like they could actually hurt him. As for before, they really couldn't hurt him. They could only seal him, and like even then, they, in my opinion, they like still can't seal him. So now they could actually deal damage. Do you think a hit from Tsunade would like uh hurt him like a lot, or what do
So
you think?
I know before when we were talking about this off, recording that I thought that he might blow his body up, but I also thought about it. It's like, hang on a second, like he just tanked Killer Bee's lariat.
Yeah, that is weird, honestly. But with the lariat thing, um, I'm pretty sure Madara even states that Tsunade has more striking power than the Raikage, isn't it?
Yeah, in terms of like AP, it goes like Anoki's at the top with his particle style, and then below that is Tsunade. That seems fairly consistent.
Yeah, so um, you might be able to like argue that Tsunade, like with her 100 healings and everything, like she might be able to like deal some type of damage to him.
And that's only if you think that this Nagato doesn't just have animals littered throughout the battlefield. And something else that, doesn't get brought up a lot is that a live Nagato can actually walk. And we don't have any real feats for Nagato's speed, but Nagato as an Edo Tensei is still somewhat crippled. He can kind of walk, but not really. But I was rewatching the fight with him and Naruto. He just dashes up to Naruto and takes his soul. And Naruto doesn't do anything. He just and in the anime it's crazy. And in the manga it's even worse. He obliterates B and Naruto in about 3 pages and they can do nothing. And it just seems very unlikely that Nagato can just get hit and killed from Tsunade. It still might just go in Nagato's favor.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And what do you think about the ability, all the Kage working together, their resolved amp, they do that like, 5 times sealing ability on Madara. Like, do you see Nagato getting caught off guard by that?
Yeah, so with everyone working together, all the Kage, all their strength together, their resolve amps, everything, I still see Nagato pulling it out, like probably like 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because like Nagato is like one of those characters that has hacks and he has abilities that could neg like a lot of characters in the series. Like he seems like he just has something for everyone. Like with the Raikage, oh he's running up and he's taking his cloak, he's taking his chakra. With Tsunade, he has the rods and like uh, Shinra Tensei, Planetary Devastation. Uh, it's just too much for the Kage.
And you know what's crazy is that even after he uses Chibaku Tensei as an Edo, he is not fatigued. He doesn't show any signs of losing energy. He just sort of casually whips out a Chibaku Tensei and then only gets caught off guard by Itachi. So it's pretty consistent that this Nagato is just so much stronger than Pain, who is so much stronger than the Sage Naruto that already lost to Pain, who should be above people like Tsunade. So you can see that there's kind of multiple tiers, and you kind of have to use like a narrative kind of headcanon. Like if Kishimoto were to write the fight, it'd be that he gets caught off guard and it's just by the skin of their teeth by the Kage win. But if we're just power scaling the series, Nagato should just win, like you said, 9 times out of 10. Now, this is the weirdest part of the video, but how do you think the video changes or the versus battle changes if we consider if Kabuto's controlling Nagato? Because he kind of has to be controlling Nagato to do all that stuff.
Yeah. So we know that like with Edo Nagato, he's a different person. He's changed by Naruto. He got talk no jutsu, so he's just changed completely his whole personality. And I think that if Kabuto was controlling him, because like I don't think he would fight the five Kage just like on his own will.
No.
So like I think if Kabuto was controlling him, it honestly would be a harder stomp.
Yeah.
Um,
And you got to remember
you know,
that even this sort of half controlled Nagato, him and Itachi are trying to help Naruto and B fight them. You'll notice in their fight that, Naruto has no idea where Itachi is, and Nagato goes, "Look, above you." And then Itachi goes, "I'm behind you," to B. So they're actually helping them fight them because they're obviously so powerful. And this is not like a real argument, but Nagato does say with Itachi that both of their dojutsu together they can accomplish anything, implying that they might be like the strongest in the world or something crazy. Like,
yeah, that is crazy.
it's
And I even think if you go back and read the manga, Itachi like appears behind B and he goes, "Don't look into my eyes." And B turns around and he still gets caught in the Genjutsu.
and B and A are relative. I know B is stronger at one point and then A is stronger at one point, but at least in the war they're implied to be rivals. Like, especially if B transforms, and we've seen like transformed B versus like even like Sasuke and stuff. Like, it's pretty crazy what Nagato did to them. It was just filthy. Now, do you see it likely that Nagato could absorb the chakra necessary to get those sort of amps he did when he absorbed all of B's chakra?
Yeah, so um it's implied by like Karin in like the five Kage summon arc that the right Kage has like chakra, the amount of chakra like relative to a Bijou. And B literally has Bijou chakra. So
So
like the
yeah,
Raikage is like no joke. Like he has like a lot of chakra. So I think if Nagato absorbs his chakra, then like he should be like like very least like relative to that Nagato.
yeah, he definitely should get the red hair, and he should be able to sort of somewhat move around because we've seen Nagato absorb Bijou chakra in an instant. If the fastest, least intelligent of the Kage is going to charge towards Nagato, Nagato will just get that level of chakra to fight the rest of the Kage. And we know
Yeah, I agree
massive
completely.
Shinra Tenseis will just end their lives.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
That's sort of like a normie argument, like Shinra Tensei solos, but with the Kage, it's
Yeah, or
like,
like
damn.
yeah, man, it's like that. Or like a lot of people say like Chibaku Tensei solos too.
And it's not like Nagato can't just do one Chibaku Tensei. He could probably do more than one because of how casual he looked as Edo Tensei. He didn't look phased at all. It's a
Yeah,
pretty
that's
nice.
like actually a good point. He might be able to do just like multiple, like just pull a Sasuke and just like have one for each.
Yeah, he does have the Renegon, and the Renegon, I think we both agree, is it just inherently gives you an ungodly amount of chakra just from the nature of the people that have it.
Yeah. On top of his Uzumaki chakra.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. So I think that's the video, guys. Nagato stomps. I know it wasn't really much of a fair fight, but I think we both sort of gave our perspectives on, what the Kage could do. But as Prodigy mentioned, it just seems very unlikely just based on the fight with Madara.
yeah, for sure. And so like I said earlier, the Kage, they might win like one time out of 10, especially if like you want to say like Kishimoto writes it because, he might write it to where the Kage needs to win. It's just whatever the plot needs, of course. But from a power scaling perspective, like he said earlier, it's just really pointing towards Nagato, like just like an insane amount. Like he has abilities for each of the Kage that's like neg their powers. Um, and like he scales to like the best of them,
He
like all
scales above
categories
Casey
he's
and
just
Naruto.
yeah, exactly. So like all categories he's just scaling with like the best of the Kage. So yeah, in my opinion he takes it pretty easily, like any way you want to put it. Like Alive Nagato or Edo Nagato. So yeah.
For sure. So thanks so much for being on the channel. On your channel, we're probably going to be doing a video on how Sasuke and his team do against each Akatsuki duo, so look out for that. You know, go subscribe to Prodigy, and thanks so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thanks everybody for watching, and peace.